Obviously, with a lot of events being canceled and put on hold here, and as the storm approaches, there just aren't as many people on the roadway at this early stage. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
A lot of tropical moisture will continue to get slung our way on this Wednesday, all due to Tropical Storm Cindy in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not going to make a landfall in our area, but we are dealing with some tropical rain from that system. 100% chance of showers. Don't forget the umbrella. I'm Local 15's Kelly Foster for this iHeartRadio station.
It's a good idea to get your heating and air conditioning system checked a couple of times a year. And at Bachelor Service Heating and Air, they have a team of precision tune-up specialists. It's all they do to help keep your system in tip-top shape. Learn more at bachelorservice.com, certification number 17070.
Your music and radio all in one app. Everywhere you go on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Open the iHeartRadio app and listen today.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. And now, welcome back, TV viewers. If you want to watch the show, you can go to the CW55. We're still on the CW55 for now, at least. Although I haven't checked, I better look. You never know. All right, there we are. Yes, I just changed the channel in the studio to the CW55. So, yes, we're on. So, good morning. So, yes, indeed, we'll keep you as up to date as we can on Tropical Storm Cindy. As Ariel mentioned in the first segment of the program, lots of things closed, all these summer school activities. When I was young, I don't remember as many activities, school activities during the summer, but there are a lot now. And in Mobile and Baldwin, those are shut down. And then things closed in our area include YMCA of South Alabama and of downtown Mobile. There are lots of summer school camps. So you would need to check with if you have your children in some type of summer school camp, because lots of these things are shut down today. So that'll be of some extra effort for some parents trying to figure out what is to be done with the child. Ariel, join me here just briefly because I noticed something. I had an observation earlier this week. Ariel has a 2-year-old.
Correct.
A very active and interested youngster.
Extremely.
Now, did you bring him up here Monday afternoon?
I did. Yeah, he was in the building. Hey, I thought you had gone for the day.
Well, I had.
Okay.
But I went into your room yesterday morning. I went into your room and there was so much on the floor.
Yeah.
And at first I thought somebody has come in here and vandalized Ariel's workspace because there was all these different things. Our chief engineer, when we first went on television, collected a bunch of bobbleheads and stuff because he thought that it would be amusing to put bobbleheads on television.
Correct.
That's why we're in radio, not in TV, because we have ideas like that. But all of the bobblehead things were all over the floor. And at first I thought, is there some type of revenge or some type of prank? And then I remember, 2-year-old.
Yes, and he unfortunately broke one of the Three Stooges' heads. So, yeah, this head will bobble no more.
Okay, well, a Three Stooge, their heads are supposed to break, if I understand the Three Stooges correctly. Okay, well, that's what happened in your room.
Yes. Now, the rest of this mess he did not cause. That would be our chief engineers.
Oh, they did get in there and mess some things up.
Oh, they did. They did. In fact, what they need to do is get in here with a broom and a dustpan and get this mess cleaned up.
Okay. That's
I've had about enough.
We've got to clean up our own messes. We've got to clean up our own messes. All right, well, thank you, Ariel.
You're welcome.
Yes. Her workspace was invaded and torn up. Well, again, we'll keep you up to date on the weather and the closings. She's got the youngster, but numerous family members, I'm sure, providing some type of daycare, like in the old days. We'll get to other news as well. I know you're craving, not only are you craving up-to-date weather information, you'd also crave news items. There are some out there, some big, some not, and we'll get to them as we continue on the Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
When you have a passion for pasta or pizza, it's Pizzeria Delfina. Owner Richie Gambino puts his personal touch on perfecting pasta, pizza, calzone, antipastas, stromboli, and more. With fresh ingredients and a love for creating culinary classics for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, and on Sunday too from 4 to 9 p.m. Pizzeria Delfina. Authentic Italian food made fresh to order. Dine-in, takeout, catering, and delivery available through Port City Deliveries. Pizzeria Delfina. Lower Dolphin Street, downtown Mobile. Locally owned and operated, Delta Disaster Services is the Gulf Coast solution from minor mishaps to more serious setbacks.
Hello, my name is Matthew Morris with Morris Insurance. When we have a customer call after a pipe breaks or a tree falls through their roof, I want them to know that everything will be taken care of and to give them peace of mind. I'm confident that Zach and his team at Delta Disaster will be there right away, even in the middle of the night.
Mitigation to reconstruction, Delta Disaster is there, servicing Mobile, Baldwin County, Pensacola, and Biloxi.
If you run a nonprofit or social enterprise, your passion probably isn't accounting, human resources, operations, or benefits management, but ours is. At Mission Edge, we provide affordable back office services so you can focus on your mission. Since 2012, we provided nonprofits and social businesses with experts in accounting and finance, HR and people management. In addition, we offer startup support and fiscal sponsorship services, a social enterprise accelerator, skilled volunteers, and other programs to help you scale your impact. Contact us today at missionedge.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break on the Uncle Henry Show. Ariel is showing us video of the Bayway, the wet, slick Bayway. And that's, yes, look at that. Are you one of those people that just drives 75 miles an hour no matter what the weather is? Because I've been driven by those individuals. I may be the person that you can't stand to be with on the road, but I'm not confident driving 80 when we have a lot of rain and there's the possibility that I may slip and slide around on the road. I'm just not confident doing it. Now maybe you're different. Maybe you look at it as an opportunity to go even faster. But I'm glad I'm not on that. I'm glad I'm not out in that. Now, we'll be on the radio here in just a moment. For the TV viewer, you never get to hear our traffic guy. So let me see if I can share with you what our traffic guy is telling us. Are there any problems out there? So let me share with you what the traffic man is telling the radio listener. Here is our traffic man.
As more and more rain associated with Tropical Storm Cindy continues to push through the area, we are seeing more water starting to form and holding on the roadways. The good news is most of you seem to be handling it pretty well. No reports of early morning accidents on the board, at least for the time being. Obviously, with a lot of events being canceled and put on hold here as the storm approaches, there just aren't as many people on the roadway at this early stage. With time saver traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Ray Romero. Now, you may have heard him say on the board. No accidents on the board. So he apparently has an office with a board. And I don't know if it's a dry erase board that they write accidents on, or a chalkboard, or sometimes in Vacation Bible School you'll have a felt. Ariel, did your church ever have a felt board where you would put? Yeah, you did. Maybe there could be a felt map with some type of felt thing that you stick up there for an accident. Who knows? I don't want to bother him and ask him about his board. He might get mad, but he's got a board. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio.
Morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710, WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. And for watching on the CW55. If you're just tuning in due to your lack of initiative or lack of interest, good morning. Welcome to the show. Flash flood warning for the local lower Alabama area, and lots of rain for anyone that can hear this or see this, certainly. With the flash flood warning, the National Weather Service tells us that we got anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, depending on where you are, 2 to 4 inches of rain since last night, since mid-evening, whenever that is. And more is expected this morning as storms continue to come across the area. So flash flood warning and flash flooding expected to begin or be underway in some locations this morning. And you kind of know, you ought to know, based on previous instances, if you live in that type of area. So the one thing that keeps getting repeated by the National Weather Service that you're hearing everybody say is, when you're on a flooded road, don't drive into it. Don't drive into it. Because most of the problems that end up being fatal or when they happen in vehicles. So just be very careful with all of that. This has been a learning experience for me. I moved back to Mobile almost 2 years ago, and I haven't had this much rain at once since I've moved back to Mobile. So I'm kind of learning about my yard. I went out this morning and looked at the yard, and a lot of question marks because the rain, who knows? It's a learning experience. Now, so just be careful. Be careful. Now, for the radio listener, you can't see it, but Ariel just showed a picture of a listener, Donna, sent us a weather picture. Now, the TV stations, they want you to send them pictures of something going on now, but the listeners of my show send in pictures from the 70s. So we actually have a flood picture from 1977. That's just the way AM radio works. If you're listening on AM, that's how it works. Now, the TV stations, they get the modern, up-to-date flood pictures. We get the pictures from the 70s. Whoever takes over for me here in 20 years will be showing whatever's happening today. That's the way that'll work. By the way, you can contact me, unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. And the telephone number is 479-2723. And let's talk to Cliff. Hello, Cliff.
Good morning, Uncle Henry.
Yes.
Uncle Henry, I pretty much am enjoying this because we could, this time of year, you could have the rain coming out of you.
That is true. That is true. Now, and we're blessed that we don't have to worry, you and I don't have to worry about flooding. There are some people that are nearby that are very worried about being flooded, that live in an area where their house might get water in it. So they're not enjoying it the way you and I are.
Well, Uncle Henry, it's raining slow enough to where our drainage probably can control this one.
Well, let's hope so, especially for those people in Saraland.
Amen. You have a good day, Uncle Henry.
All right. Thank you very much. It's raining slow enough. Now, I'd not measured the rain speed. Last night, the rain, I'm very sensitive to rain speed because my dog, I don't want my dog to have bodily functions in the house. And so I'm very sensitive to rain speed. Now, last night, Cliff, the rain was speedy. It was quite speedy. And then later, right before I came to work in my neighborhood, the rain was very speedy. So in your location, it's raining slow. Where I live, it was raining fast. So to the people of Saraland, I hope you're getting slow and not fast rain, because nobody wants to get flooded. Cliff, thank you for your phone call. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. I did get an email from the governor of Alabama. Now, it was not sent to me individually. I was just on a list, and the email from the governor was the Governor Kay Ivey, also known as Kate Ivory, depending on who you are. Kay Ivey declared a state of emergency in anticipation of the weather moving through Alabama because of the flash flooding that is possible, with some locations already with saturated soil. So Kay Ivey issuing a state of emergency. She ordered the State Emergency Operations Center in Clanton, Alabama, to level 3. And I'm embarrassed to tell you, I don't know what the levels are. I didn't even know we had that. So I guess I need to do some reading before we continue on during hurricane season, so I'll know what the levels are. But we're at level 3 in the state of Alabama. Uncle Henry Show continues. Radio listener is going to get news, traffic, weather, all that kind of stuff. TV viewer back in 2 minutes.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
If we really care about Russia collusion, could we just start with uranium? 20% of America's uranium handed over to Vladimir Putin because of Hillary Clinton's signature, and millions funneled back to the Clinton Foundation. You got a deep state that is leaking. What's the deep state? The deep state is the intelligence community, the same people that leaked on Flynn, the same people leaking in the Washington Post, the New York Times, and every other news outlet. Because what? They think they're better, they're superior, they think they know who should be president over you, the American people? You know, why isn't the deep state being investigated? Why isn't Flynn's leaker being investigated? Why isn't Loretta Lynch being investigated for obstruction of justice? For crying out loud, why isn't Hillary Clinton in jail at this point? You know, when are we going to investigate the real crimes we know were committed here?
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
There are few things in life as rewarding as being part of a worthy cause. Hi, I'm Jim McCann, chairman of 1-800-Flowers.com and co-founder of the nonprofit organization Smile Farms. At Smile Farms, we find it unacceptable that nearly 80% of adults with developmental disabilities are unemployed in the United States. So we decided to try and do something about it. Smile Farms is dedicated to supporting people with special needs by providing meaningful work experiences and social interaction. Smile Farms is making a difference by offering fulfilling jobs at local farms, urban gardens, and greenhouses. What began as 1 Smile Farms has quickly grown into 3, with 3 more set to open this year. Through your charitable donations, Smile Farms will continue to create similar opportunities across the U.S. and make a positive impact on the lives of those with special needs and their families.
Visit smilefarms.org to learn how you can make a donation and change a life. That's smilefarms.org.
710 Time Saver Traffic.
And here we are back on the CW55, Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life. That's the mission statement of the CW55. we're in a radio break. The radio listeners hearing news, traffic, weather, and all of that. We'll go back to radio in just a minute. Let me listen, and for you, the TV viewer, we never play you the traffic reports, but I want to listen just in case there's an update, if you don't mind. So I'm going to share with you here just briefly our traffic man, who does have a big board that he looks at for traffic problems. So let's listen to him tell us about our traffic.
Well, as the rain continues to come down through the area, we have picked up an interstate accident. This is eastbound I-10 between Dolphin Island Parkway and the I-65 interchange. There is an injury involved here, but really not seeing any delay through the area there. Some flooding is starting to develop. Highway 193 as well as parts of Tanner Williams Road. Just a couple of areas now that are starting to see high water. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
There you have it. So we do have accidents on the board. He didn't mention his board, but we know he's got one, and he's got accidents on the interstate and some roads now being declared a big problem. Now, I saw an email from a government official yesterday that was sent out to the media, and I think it was a Mobile County official. I can't remember because I don't have the email in front of me, but they wanted the media to understand that that specific governmental entity never closed a road. They wanted us to understand terminology. And they told us that roads, they will not be closing roads, but what they do is designate them as impassable. And there's a legal reason. There's some kind of a legal, lawyers are involved, so instead of saying it's closed or going through some legal mechanism to close a road, instead it's declared impassable. So just keep that in mind. You may have a road that looks closed, but it may actually just be impassable. All right? Government, the way governments talk can be very interesting, right? Let's see, we're going to be back on the radio here in just a few minutes. In our final 2 weeks on the CW55. Ariel, please join me here, because I've had more people are now talking to me about it being our final 2 weeks on the CW55, and they keep asking me what's going to happen to you.
Really?
Are you? Yes. What about Ariel?
I appreciate their concern.
But you will, for now, you're still going to be here with me in the morning.
Yeah, for now. I mean, I haven't gotten fired. Hopefully,
No.
I won't be getting fired.
Now, Ariel is going to be with me for now in the morning, even when we're off of television and still on the internet. We're going to try and add some third. We're on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to try and add some third internet something that we can stream to. But Ariel is going to a radio programming conference in Miami at the end of July. And I wonder if she'll ever come back.
Yes, I'm coming back.
Because I'm thinking that people may meet her and want to offer her a job.
But they're probably not going to be hiring, so.
Well, you never know.
True.
You never know.
True. I guess I kind of lost a little bit of my optimism, but you're right. It could happen, but I have a good feeling that I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they would have to pay, in order for you to afford to take your son to a bigger city, they'd have to really they'd have to be shelling out the money big time, because child care is very, very expensive.
Absolutely. And if I have to move to a city by myself where I can't leave them with my parents for free, oh, you're going to have to give me the big bucks.
The big bucks. But you never know. You never know. There may be some show somewhere that they just are looking for that one person to go to the next level.
Who knows? Maybe I'll, stumble into my own very American Idol experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's some new show, by the way, that there's some new dance show.
Is it, the one with Jennifer Lopez
Yes,
and Neo
that's why I even paid attention, because I saw the commercials and they keep showing her, and I thought, well, wait a minute. She was on American Idol and now she's judging something else.
Well, I mean, she can sing. according to some people. And she dances. She's been dancing her whole career. Who better to be a dance judge than somebody who actually knows how to dance?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's these shows, these talent shows,
are annoying.
Well, to people my age, it's really a throwback because there were so many. There used to be a lot of talent shows on TV and radio.
Search.
Well, way back, like in the 1950s.
Yeah, I don't go back that far.
I know. Well, I know you don't, but, and I guess it's because it's cheap to do.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay these people. They come for the fame.
Right, or they'll
Free.
work. They'll work for minimum whatever you have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So
turkey sandwiches.
Exactly. All right. Well, Ariel, thank you. Ariel's still with us. You were wondering, what happens with her when we're off the CW55? She remains for now. All right, stand by. We go back to radio. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Flash flood warning for most listening locations here. Let me go in. We'll have the latest on the weather as we move forward here. Let me go to the email inbox. I do have an email that is weather-related. Subject line on the email is heavy rains now. What comes later? Email reads, good morning, Henry. Great frog choking Wednesday to you. With all this rain for the last 2 weeks or so, I'm going to start looking to purchase a 55-gallon drum of off. The Skeeters will be on the warpath for sure. Do you know where one might purchase a 55-gallon drum of off? And that email from the Common Man. Common Man, I do not know. And I don't know what the price would be on a 55-gallon drum of mosquito repellent. Remember, Common Man, that mosquitoes are slow. They're usually slow-flying insects. So if there's a breeze, then they can't do what they need to do. So instead of spending money on a 55-gallon drum of off, if you're just going to be on your patio, you might want to buy a gigantic fan. It's a really big fan. If you're going to spend money on a 55-gallon drum of off, just buy a gigantic, one of these kind of fans they take out to big outdoor parties, major events. Just buy a giant fan. Common Man, yes, thank you for your email. Email address, unclehenry@gmail.com. And yes, I also wondered about how the creatures will adapt in my local habitat. Now, and you mentioned frogs in your email. Have you ever had a frog problem? I've always looked at frogs in a positive way because they do eat bugs, allegedly. And I like it when things eat bugs. In fact, there are some spiders I don't mind because they're eating other bugs. And are there spiders that eat other spiders? Those would be good spiders to have. But frogs, I know somebody that recently moved to a place that has a pond, and he has so many frogs, he wants to find fish that he can purchase for his pond that will eat the frogs. This circle of life is complicated, isn't it? The food chain, the web of life, as Al Gore would call it. It's very complex. Bugs, spiders, frogs, fish. More in a moment as the Uncle Henry Show proceeds.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Volkswagen Traffic Center.
Well, as the rain continues to come down through the area, we have picked up an interstate accident. This is eastbound I-10 between Dauphin Island Parkway and the I-65 interchange. There is an injury involved here, but really not seeing any delay through the area there. Some flooding is starting to develop. Highway 193 as well as parts of Tanner Williams Road. Just a couple of areas now that are starting to see high water. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcome it. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
A lot of tropical moisture will continue to get slung our way on this Wednesday, all due to Tropical Storm Cindy in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not going to make a landfall in our area, but we are dealing with some tropical rain from that system. 100% chance of showers. Don't forget the umbrella. I'm Local 15's Kelly Foster for this iHeartRadio station.
Never miss a riff. TK 101, the rock station.
Your home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Henry, my neighbor is a jerk, and people need to be nicer to people. They really do. But I don't know. I guess my message is people need to be nicer to people. People need to be nicer to people.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Tropical Storm Cindy, flash flood warning is in effect. If you've just tuned in, National Weather Service of Mobile, Lower Alabama, they're telling us that 2 to 4 inches of rain have fallen since the middle of last evening, whenever that is, and 2 or more inches expected by mid-morning. So flash flooding is expected. So this would be a good day to do whatever it is you're doing where you're doing it, unless you're doing it in the middle of low-lying area. We'll keep you up to date on this as we go forward in the morning. 479-2723 is the telephone number, 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. There are other things in the news other than the weather. A brief mention that the Georgia special election, that people outside of Georgia turned it into some type of referendum on Donald Trump, and the Republican did win, and the young 30-year-old Democrat that didn't live in the district lost. So that's how that turned out. I tuned into cable news last night, and the cable news people seemed bored with that. And I don't blame them. After last presidential election, I'm electioned out, even though these elections continue. And last night, the cable news people, they looked burnt out also. Let's talk to Bert. Bert, what is going on with you, Bert?
Good morning, Uncle Henry. I really don't want to talk much about the weather because we can't do anything about it other than just be prepared. But there's a lot of political stuff going on. And I want to comment on the Republican health care bill that I think they're going to unveil it tomorrow. Is that right?
I do not know.
Well, anyway, it's just hilarious to me to hear the Democrats complaining that the Republicans aren't making details of the bill available in a timely manner. What I think that McConnell and Ryan ought to tell them is, well, we got to pass the bill in order to find out what's in it. I think we ought to take the tactics they used for Obamacare and throw it right back in their face. The Obamacare was sold as a pig in a poke, and I think they ought to tell them, hey, if it's fine for y'all to do it, then we're going to do it too. Sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander.
And what you mentioned, a pig in a poke?
Ain't you ever heard that expression?
I have, but no one has trotted that thing out on this show, maybe ever. This is actually, now I was thinking to myself, this politics stuff is really, I mean, what year is it? What year am I in? Where am I in the time stream? But then you mentioned pig and a poke, and that brought me right into the conversation. Pig and a poke. Bert, I love it when you bring up these phrases. And sauce for the goose and whatever it was for the gander. That was also good.
Right. Well, maybe that's the first for your show.
It's wonderful, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Bert, because my mind, these discussions like that, we could have maybe had that discussion years ago or maybe years from now. It seems to now be timeless, the Republican-Democrat thing, but pig and a poke.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
If you're ready for a security system, call TSI Alarms and Audio. They offer short-term agreements and low monitoring rates. Call 251-662-0500 or visit online at thetsigroup.com.
We hope you had a great Father's Day weekend, and I hope Dad got him a Harley. Huh? Hey, Chip Nelson, Rockets Rush Chairman. Whether it's pre-loved or new, the time is right at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola to ride into this summer like never before. And one ride is all it takes. You can take a free test ride on any Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Schedule it in advance. You can also get pre-qualified on their website without using your social, and it won't affect your credit score. At PensacolaHarley.com or ride into that beautiful dealership on Highway 29 in Car City.
Angelo's here from Mobile Bay Coins. Angelo, what if I don't want to be a coin collector, but I want to be a coin investor? Can you help me learn about that?
Uncle Henry, what we do every day is teach people about coins and coin collecting, and as you said, even investing in coins. Now, we are not investment advisors. We're not going to teach you how to invest. What we are going to do is we're going to teach you where the values of those coins have been over the years, what we have done with our portfolios of coins, and how much money you can make or potentially lose depending on how you make those decisions. We will help you understand the rare coin and collectible coin market.
You don't mind taking the time to help me learn this stuff?
Uncle Henry, I would rather have you come to the shop 3 or 4 times and have conversations with us and learn and understand coin collecting before you spend 1 cent, for goodness sakes.
That's at Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown Mobile. Look for Mobile Bay Coins on Facebook. You'll find them online at mobilebaycoins.com.
We here at iHeartRadio wanted to say thank you. Why? Because you've made us the #1 rated music app in America. iHeartRadio is the only app with live radio, artist stations, and...
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life is the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listeners hearing whatever it is they're hearing, along with traffic and weather and all that. We'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Also, good morning to the people watching on Facebook. Bama Big Man, Roger Bird, Nita Jeffers of Baymanette, Graham Green, Smart Home America. A fortified roof would come in handy in the tropical weather. Now, Nita Jeffers of Baymanette, I hope that keep us up to date on Baymanette. Whatever's, I don't really know how Baymanette deals with things because it's Baymanette. But let us know. If anything happens in Baymanette, please let us know. Let's see. Ariel, join me here. I've got a food story. We'll keep you up to date on the weather. Flash flood warning. We'll get more into that later. But Ariel, join me here. I've got a food story for you because Ariel and I do talk together about the business of food in our country, fast food. You may remember that we had the story a few months ago how McDonald's wants to encourage more business by switching to fresh, never frozen beef for the Quarter Pounder.
Right.
And I read an analysis yesterday. The industry wonders if it's going to work because it's taking longer And there's some company that does an analysis of how long the average wait time is at fast food restaurants.
Right, it's not very fast.
And it's causing the wait time to go up 20 seconds more at McDonald's. And that's actually significant. They claim that's a significant factor, and it may actually hurt them because people have to wait an additional 20 seconds. Isn't that, I find that odd, but they claim that's a big deal.
Okay, if you're in that big of a rush that you don't have an extra 20 seconds, you probably need to just cook at home.
Okay.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Have you ever been frustrated with a microwave?
No, I can't ever say that, you know what, my microwave is not working fast enough.
I have. I come
Really?
from, my family originated type 2 diabetes in Alabama. And I have been in front of the microwave. Cook.
Yeah, well, I mean, it works pretty fast, so, you know. Now, the toaster oven, that is a different story.
Right.
You're talking about slow.
All right, well, Ariel, thank you. Ariel says 20 seconds, you shouldn't be bothered, but people are worried about that extra 20 seconds.
10 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. Tropical Storm Cindy will keep you up to date when there's any new information. What you should know is that there's a flash flood warning. If you can listen to this, and if you're listening on a radio and not online, then you're most likely going to be in a flash flood warning area, and most of it is going to be south of I-10 especially, but not necessarily confined to that, because lots of rain last night, 2 to 4 inches last night, and more by mid-morning, maybe the same amount by mid-morning. So just be aware of that. I was looking at a list of the closures, and we've got Mobile and Baldwin County Public Schools, whatever activities, summer schools, things like that, those have been canceled. And then of the organizations that are closed, I won't go down the list because it's mostly all, they're places you'd take your child, like summer camps, daycares, things like that. So that's something that if you take your child and drop them off at this time of year, you're the person that needs to be concerned to figure out whether or not that place is going to be open. So just check on that before you actually head out to drop the child off, because there's a long, long list of individual churches and summer camps that have shut down for today with all of this weather. Now, aside from the weather, that's mostly the news locally, is the weather. On the national scene, you've got the special election in Georgia to fill the congressional seat. The Republican won. The last time I checked, the Republican won. And I did notice, I mentioned this earlier, I did notice that the commentators on television seem to almost be burnt out on covering that kind of thing. But the Republican didn't win. So it was people tried to turn it into some type of major referendum or make it into something of great significance, and I don't believe that it really was. Probably a lot of people in the country deliberately not paying attention to that. Now, in the world of entertainment, Ariel, please join me here because I'm curious. Have there been any Beyonce updates? Is there anything new? Do we know anything about the little children?
I'm thinking, but no, there haven't been any. Of course, you know, everybody is still speculating about the sex of the babies, but according to some reports, they have seen people bring in gifts that are both pink and blue at the same time. So that's why they're speculating that there is a boy and a girl involved in this set of twins. But you know what? There have been no updates, and Beyonce is just not the type of person to give updates. When you find out it's going to be in a giant 60-minute special, or maybe she's going to, seriously, like that is how she rolls.
Right.
Or she's going to rent out HBO for the weekend and show a documentary of her carrying her kids, giving birth, and revealing what they look like. We didn't know what Blue Ivy looked like until Oprah showed us.
Okay.
She had an entire Oprah special before she released a documentary on HBO. That's when we found out what the baby looks like.
Okay. All right. Well, like them or not, Beyonce and her husband know how to handle the media.
Absolutely.
Maybe better than any celebrity in the country.
And they know how to market better than anybody I probably have ever seen. Like, they're genius.
All right, Ariel, thank you for the Beyonce children. I know you, the listener of the radio station, probably do not care about Beyonce's children. But I'm now, and I don't care from an entertainment standpoint, but I'm more fascinated at how they can make the media. The media does flips, jumps around. It's interesting how the media can be so easily manipulated by that couple. They know something that some of us don't know, apparently. Also from the world of entertainment, there was this story that's getting major coverage that the actor Daniel Day-Lewis is retiring from acting. Now, I don't care, and you probably don't either. But what is silly about it is that he has made this announcement, and then he has said that the reason will not be given, and it's none of your business, that it's private. So why did you tell us in the first place? Why would you make the announcement? Why would you make a major announcement with most people not caring anyway to tell us that you're not going to tell us? The man is retiring from acting and says it's private and it's none of your business. So why did you tell us to begin with? I would not have noticed. I had to look to see what he had done. I knew he was Lincoln. But other than that, I mean, why would you make an announcement and then say that you're not going to tell us anything in the future? Maybe that's also brilliant marketing. I need to look into doing stuff like that myself. It's of having some type of contradiction like that. Here's a major announcement that's none of your business. I have a major announcement that's none of your business, and I'm not going to tell you about it. All right, look, we're about to go into a break for the radio and TV people. Radio listeners are going to get news, traffic, weather, all of that. TV viewer, we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with more Uncle Henry Show on a very, very nasty, well, to me, now you may be out dancing in the rain and enjoying it like a lunatic, but I consider it very messy.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he was able to make the crown for me while I waited. It was a same-day crown, no temporary crown, and it fit perfectly. Dr. Brown has a family-friendly practice. He offers a wide range of services, including cleanings, whitening, cosmetic bonding, the same-day crowns I just told you about, veneers, bridges, dentures, partials. He restores implants. If you're a new patient, you can get a new patient appointment within just a few days. Remember the name. It's H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. Call him at 251-342-5636. While his website is under construction, you can look for him on Facebook. Look for H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. Dentist on Facebook.
First house, last house, mid-south, coat that side, porch, cul-de-sac, mid-south, coat that brick house, townhouse, don't paint, coat that dockside, poolside, outside, coat that corner store, warehouse, mama's house, coat that.
Tired of painting your home every 4 to 5 years? This is Kevin Mamahat, president of Mid-South Coatings. Better than paint, more durable than latex. Mid-South Coatings is the ultimate alternative to traditional paint. And with our lifetime warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again, guaranteed. If you live anywhere in the Gulf South, call for a free estimate. And since Mid-South Coatings is much thicker than paint, your home will look like it's just been freshly painted forever. So before you paint your home with traditional paint or any product, call Mid-South Coatings for a free estimate.
Call 251-272-4440. 272-4440. That's 272-4440.
Red, white, beige, and blue, any color of the net, anyway you like, coat this, Mid-South, coat that.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. News Radio 710 WNTM.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life is the mission statement here on the CW55. I'm Uncle Henry, the host of the Uncle Henry Show, heard on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag. The Uncle Henry Show can also be heard on the iHeartRadio app. So just download that for free, and you can find the app and listen to the show anywhere, even in Bay Minette. We actually have two people watching in Bay Minette that we're able to confirm this morning, which is just wonderful. Now, the radio listeners not hearing this, they're hearing news, traffic, weather, vital information. We'll get to the radio show in just a few minutes. Right now, it's me and you and Ariel, the video producer of the show. The weather is what it is. Tropical Storm Cindy. Lots and lots of rain. You've seen it. You've heard it. You know what it's all about. A lot flash flood warning for Mobile and Baldwin and southern Mississippi especially. We've had a lot of rain overnight. Some spots up to 4 inches, and a lot of rain on the way up through mid-morning at least. So flash flooding. Now, I don't usually share with the TV viewer the traffic reports, but we do. I want to listen to see if we do have any roads that are impassable or anything like that. So let's listen briefly here to our traffic man to see what he has to say about our road conditions.
High water bordering on street flooding now being reported in a number of locations, including County Road 95 in Baldwin County, Highway 193, parts of Tanner Williams. Fort Pickens has been evacuated and closed until further notice. As the threat from Tropical Storm Cindy continues, there is a lot of weather, wind and rain moving through the area, and unfortunately this is going to be the case all day, perhaps into tomorrow as well. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
So there he is, and there you heard it. So this is why most of the places that people drop off children have been shut down. The list is very long of the summer camps, so you'll want to check that on your own. If you drop your child off somewhere on your way to work, then you may want to check in advance so that you'll know whether or not they're open today. Let's see. We'll be on the radio in just a few minutes. Ariel, please join me. I did have somebody mention you on Facebook this morning. A man, see, this is what happens in the industry is women in radio and television do get the attention of males.
Oh, dear.
Now, you're saying, oh, dear, as if there might be a problem.
The way you're setting this up, it does not look like it's going in a good direction.
Well, no, it's just a man. I think his name is Steve, and his last name starts with H.
Okay.
But he said, let me see. I want to get the exact comment.
Okay.
I'm looking for it here on Facebook. Because we mentioned that Ariel is going to go to Miami in the future to network with people in our industry.
Right.
And I mentioned earlier that I think that it's going to be, she may get a job offer from it because that's just the way our industry works. Steve Heisler says, Ariel, have a safe trip.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Have a safe trip.
Now, do you know him?
I don't.
All right, so this is a stranger wanting to reach out to you and tell you to have a safe trip.
Just wants to make sure, my plane takes off and lands safely in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Also, we have a lady, a new viewer in Bay Minette named Ariel. In her last name I cannot pronounce. So good morning to the unpronounceable.
Good morning, Ariel, the unpronounceable.
All right. Thank you, Ariel, the pronounceable. We'll get back to her as the morning goes on. All right, we're about to go on to the radio show here on this very wet morning. It looks like it's only sprinkling lightly here, which makes me want to rush home and take my dog out. But I can't. But light rain here. All right, stand by. Here we go. We go back to radio.
Benz of Mobile Studios. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also watch on the CW55. Lots of weather radar this morning if you were to tune in. Also, we show the Bayway cameras. I'll tell you, the radio listener, that we're not seeing a lot of traffic yet. Some people, with the luxury of not having to go somewhere, I guess, when the weather is bad. The weather isn't real good. We've now, some locations are seeing a bit of a break where the rain's not as heavy, but more's on the way with a flash flood warning in effect, with lots of rain overnight and a lot more on the way. And if you've been listening to our traffic reports, you've heard that we've already had a few roads that have become impassable. So keep that in mind as you go out and about. And that's we'll keep you updated through the morning here on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM, The Jag. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to hear from Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio. We're going to talk about the situation with North Korea and the young man that has passed away after his confinement in North Korea, and will that change things? So we'll get to that in about 15 minutes on the Uncle Henry Show. Also, if you were paying attention to the congressional race in Georgia, a lot of people wanted us to pay attention to it. Republican versus Democrat in Georgia, and it's been touted as the most expensive congressional race in history, with money just flowing into that district, people wanting to defeat the Republican Party and turn it into some kind of referendum on the president. Well, the Republican did win in the Georgia 6th congressional race. So the Republican did win. Last night, the president did congratulate the Republican on Twitter. In fact, that was one update. And we do know that the media, like me, does watch the president's Twitter account at all times. So the president did congratulate the winner on Twitter. So I guess we'll have to wait. I'm sure there'll be something else that will end up being a referendum on the president. But last night's referendum went his way in Georgia. All right, look, more to come. In fact, the president is tweeting this morning. That's right. We'll get into all of that and more as we continue. Flash flood warning in effect. Back with more in just a moment on the Uncle Henry Show.
Time Saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
High water bordering on street flooding now being reported in a number of locations, including County Road 95 in Baldwin County, Highway 193, parts of Tanner Williams. Fort Pickens has been evacuated and closed until further notice. As the threat from Tropical Storm Cindy continues, there is a lot of weather, wind and rain moving through the area, and unfortunately this is going to be the case all day, perhaps into tomorrow as well. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
A lot of tropical moisture will continue to get slung our way on this Wednesday, all due to Tropical Storm Cindy in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not going to make a landfall in our area, but we are dealing with some tropical rain from that system. 100% chance of showers. Don't forget the umbrella. I'm Local 15's Kelly Foster for this iHeartRadio station.
Start your morning with Uncle Henry, News Radio 710, WNTM. This morning at 9, Ask the Expert, then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710, WNTM.
This is Proverbs 25:24, the King James Version. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman and in a wide house. The New International Version, better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. Proverbs 25:24.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710, WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio. Going to talk about what is the impact from the death of the young man that was held in Korea. I know that the president has spoken out about that a couple of times now. And will that actually have an impact on what's going on right now between Korea and the United States? Now, speaking of the president, he is tweeting this morning. I am watching his Twitter. We do have some listeners to the radio show that have asked me to please watch his Twitter because they are still unfamiliar and afraid of Twitter. They're unfamiliar with it. They don't know it. They can't figure it out. They feel disenfranchised from it, and they know the president is trying to reach them, and they want me to share with them his Twitter feed. Now, several years ago, people would treat this show like Google. There were many elderly people that did not understand Google, and so they would just call in and ask me to look something up. And I was glad to do so. Now, there are some people, especially elderly, that want me to look at the president's Twitter for them, and I'm happy to oblige because it is a service to the elderly, and it also means that I don't have to think much. I just look at the Twitter and tell you about it, and thus my workload is reduced. So the president has tweeted this morning, and the tweet from the president less than an hour ago reads as follows: Democrats would do much better as a party if they got together with Republicans on health care, tax cuts, security. Obstruction doesn't work! Exclamation point. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know about obstruction doesn't work, because it does look like things have been obstructed. If your goal is to obstruct and you have actually obstructed, then maybe it has worked for what you wanted it to do, which was to obstruct. Now, obstruction may not work for helping the country, but if your goal is just to obstruct, then it may have worked. So I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with the whole tweet. In fact, some constituents probably want their representative to obstruct anything that they don't like. So the Democrats may be doing what they think their constituents want them to do in this situation. But that's the first tweet. Maybe there will be more tweets. I'm only happy to relate them to you. Back with more in a moment. Remember, flash flood warning in effect as we have all the rain from Tropical Storm Cindy. When we're back on radio, we'll have NBC's Bill Zimfer. We'll talk about the North Korea situation.
When you have a passion for pasta or pizza, it's Pizzeria Delfina. Owner Richie Gambino puts his personal touch on perfecting pasta, pizza, calzone, antipastas, stromboli, and more. With fresh ingredients and a love for creating culinary classics for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, and on Sunday too from 4 to 9 p.m. Pizzeria Delfina. Authentic Italian food made fresh to order. Dine-in, take-out, catering, and delivery available through Port City Deliveries. Pizzeria Delfina. Lower Dolphin Street, downtown Mobile.
First house, last house, mid-south, court that side, porch, cul-de-sac, mid-south, court that brick house, townhouse, don't pay, court that dockside, poolside, outside, court that corner store, warehouse, mama's house, court that.
Tired of painting your home every 4 to 5 years? This is Kevin Mamahat, president of Mid-South Coatings. Better than paint, more durable than latex. Mid-South Coatings is the ultimate alternative to traditional paint. And with our lifetime warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again, guaranteed. If you live anywhere in the Gulf South, call for a free estimate. And since Mid-South Coatings is much thicker than paint, your home will look like it's just been freshly painted forever. So before you paint your home with traditional paint or any product, call Mid-South Coatings for a free estimate.
Call 251-272-4440. 272-4440. That's 272-4440.
Red, white, nigga, blue, any color of the net, anywhere you're at, court this, Mid-South, court that.
If you're looking for a chiropractor, check out my chiropractor, Dr. Call, at Mobile Chiropractic Associates. You can call them at 251-341-1211. Online, chiroassociates.com.
You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But thankfully, they're offering a way out. The Fresh Start Initiative. If you qualify, it could save you thousands. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement. And they have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Call Optima for your free consultation.
Call 800.
Welcome back. Welcome back. The Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in our final 2 weeks of being on the CW55. And very, very grateful that the CW55 allowed us to have the wonderful practice of being on broadcast television for 10 months and just reaching Bay Minette. I feel like I've made some, just brought in Shamuckla, the Wallace community of Florida. It's been wonderful. Tonight on the CW55, it's a rerun of Arrow. A rerun of Arrow. And you know it's new to you because you didn't see it the first time. So that's tonight, 7 o'clock on the CW55. We are in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing traffic, weather, and all of that. We're going to be back on the radio here in just a moment with Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio. Before, I'm going to go to Bill Zimfer here in about 30 seconds. Before we do that, though, Tropical Storm Cindy, let's listen just briefly to our traffic reporter to see if we have any more road closings with Tropical Storm Cindy.
Well, the weather may be bad, but let's hope we don't hear any more of this as we go along. We have a vehicle that left the roadway and landed in the water. This occurred for a driver on the causeway just north of the Bankhead Tunnel. We're not hearing of a serious injury involved here, and there is a wrecker en route to try to get the vehicle pulled out of the water. No big problems if you're traveling on I-10 across the Bayway this morning. We do have some more street flooding developing, though, as more rain moves through the area. I'm Ray Romero.
Well, okay. So, somebody off the causeway. And we have awful situations previously where we've heard people going off the Bayway. I can't remember the last time I heard somebody going off the causeway into the water, so I hope everybody is okay there. All right, we're going to be on. We have Bill Zimfer with us, NBC News Radio. And, Bill, good morning to you.
Good morning, Henry.
And we're dealing with Tropical Storm Cindy here. Before we go on radio, to talk about North Korea, I just wanted to note that yesterday you and I talked about the struggle between radical Islam and the West in Europe, and then after we had that conversation, there was another attack in Belgium yesterday.
Yeah, at a train station in Brussels, Brussels has been a hotbed of terrorist activity, but for that reason, security is just very, very tight there, and there's such a police presence there that no one was injured, and the terrorist was killed by police. So luckily, nobody was hurt there.
All right, stand by. We go back to radio. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News Radio 710, WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can watch on the CW55, and we'll keep you up to date on all the latest with Tropical Storm Cindy. Flash flood warning in effect. Before we get to any more of that, we've got Bill Zimfer with us, NBC News Radio. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Uncle Henry.
And we've got this terrible situation with the young man, Otto Warmbier, who... And I don't know if it's overstating it or not. It looks like for stealing a propaganda poster or removing it, the government there, they beat him to death. Is it fair to characterize it that way, that he was beaten to death?
Well, the exact cause of death has not been established, but certainly it appears that some kind of abuse was handed out while he was in prison there. He suffered brain damage. The North Korean officials had said he got botulism, but doctors here say there's no sign of botulism, but he did suffer severe brain damage. So there was some type of abuse that went on.
Okay, so this is, you think about a government that would do something like that to somebody for taking a poster, and that's a government that is trying to find a way to shoot a missile at us.
Yeah, it certainly points out that this is a unpredictable and unstable government regime of Kim Jong-un, and it makes it particularly ticklish for the Trump administration and our diplomats as to how to handle this. I mean, the president has called the whole situation a disgrace and says we will be able to handle it. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, John McCain have all said we can't tolerate this. John McCain went so far as to call it the murder of an American citizen by North Korea. And we have to remember that there are 3 other Americans who are being held currently in North Korean prisons. So any drastic response by the United States would put their lives in danger as well.
Well, that's the question: is what kind of options do we have? I'm not sure if I understand what our options are, because if we do anything of a military nature, it looks really dangerous for South Korea.
Yeah, yes, it does. And as for that reason, I think the diplomatic route is what is being pursued, but the pressure is being upped here. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Joseph Yun who might not be a familiar name to everybody, but he is the top U.S. envoy to North Korea. He did meet with the 3 other Americans who are in prison in North Korea over the past month or so when he went to North Korea in the Warmbier situation. So there are talks continuing, and a U.S. envoy has been involved in the situation. So we are increasing the pressure to try to get the remaining Americans released, but there's really nothing else visible that the United States can do that we haven't done already to North Korea.
It's also kind of odd that this has happened with the recent publicity from Dennis Rodman going there, and Dennis Rodman talking about how great it is. giving positive reviews of sports in that country. It's just an odd contrast.
Yeah, it really is. And, of course, Dennis Rodman wants no part of the political part of this whole thing, although when he did go, he said, I'm just trying to open a door to North Korea. And who knows, maybe that will help down the road. But certainly Dennis Rodman's presence in North Korea is not helping at this point.
Well, some people speculated that that Mr. Warmbier ended up coming home because of Dennis Rodman, but there's no evidence of that, right?
No, there is no evidence of that. Here is the sequence of events. Apparently, Otto Warmbier really took a turn for the worse over there. He had been in a coma for a while, but he took a turn for the worse, and North Korean diplomats reached out at the UN and requested a face-to-face meeting with the U.S. That took place on June 6th, at which time we were told of his worsening condition, and that's how the whole situation came about. I think North Korea wanted to release him before he died in their prison. That would have been worse.
Okay. Bill Zimfer, thank you so much for your time.
Henry, my pleasure, and stay safe down there.
We will. Thank you very much, Bill Zimfer. Yes, we and if you just tuned in the middle of the Bill Zimfer chat, we did have a report of because of all the rain, we did have somebody on the causeway go get their vehicle somehow off the causeway and in the water. But according to our traffic guy, it looks like the person is okay. And they're sending out a tow truck to try and get the vehicle out of the water. Now, this is something that when the National Weather Service puts out these flash flood warnings, they always caution us to not drive into water. And I'm sure the person didn't try to go off the causeway, but they point out, National Weather Service always points out that most of the problems that end up being fatal with flash flooding happen with vehicles, that vehicles are involved, that the vehicles end up driving into water where they should not have driven into it. So hope all is well there. Of course, we will keep you up to date on any new information we get on the weather. But overnight, a lot of rain. Some locations get up to 4 inches with a lot more on the way by mid-morning. So it's just going to be, the driving conditions are going to get worse into the middle of the morning and into the afternoon. So if you don't have to go somewhere, this is when you can. Maybe you're like me, and there are a lot of TV shows that you've never ever watched because you've had things to do. This would be your opportunity. All right, there's more to come. For the radio listener, news, traffic, weather, all of that is on the way. For the TV viewer, back in 2 minutes with more Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Crude oil is little change this morning, but remains in a bear market right now at $43.51 a barrel. We had lower crude prices yesterday weighing on energy-related stocks. That dragged the market lower on Wall Street. The benchmark S&P 500 dropped 0.7% and closed at 24.37. CEO Travis Kalanick is leaving Uber, giving in to investor wishes in the wake of a series of scandals. In the meantime, the company is making big concessions to clean up its image and keep drivers from leaving. A noteworthy change is the ability for customers to tip drivers by using the ride-hailing app. Uber just rolled out that option in Minneapolis, Houston, and Seattle, and plans to expand across the U.S. by the end of July. Usually this time of year, gasoline demand is rising as people hit the road for vacation, but that's not happening this year. And Barclays Capital says one factor could be that undocumented immigrants are driving less amid an immigration crackdown. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
If you want a good night's sleep, you need a great mattress. And I can tell you where to find better mattresses at lower prices, and that's at Sleep Center right now during the Independence Day time of year. Sleep Center has an incredible any size event. Any size mattress, one low price with Sealy mattresses. For example, you can get a plush, any size, for $199. You can get a pillow top Sealy mattress, any size, for $299. Now, when I say any size, I mean twin, full, queen, or king. Memory foam Sealy mattresses, any size, for $3.99. And other great deals are available. Stearns & Foster select mattresses 10% off, plus a free box spring, and the Tempur-Pedic. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattress sets. Sleep Center, 3 locations, 2 in Mobile. 1 in the McGowan Park next to Verizon Wireless, also 1 on Airport Boulevard in the Esther Oak Shopping Center, and on the Eastern Shore in Spanish Fort in the Eastern Shore Center. Look for Sleep Center online at sleepcenternow.net.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. Radio listener hearing traffic, weather, news from Fox, and other local news. We'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Right now it's me and you and Ariel. In fact, our radio listeners are hearing traffic, and I would like to share that with you, the TV viewer, because I am curious about. We heard that there was a vehicle that went off the causeway, so let's listen together briefly to our traffic.
Well, at least one causeway driver didn't handle the weather conditions this morning very well. He ran off the roadway, landed in the water. This has occurred a little bit north of the Bankhead. You do have emergency crews there. It doesn't appear there's any serious injuries or anything like that, but a tow truck will be required to get the vehicle removed. The rain, of course, is the big problem this morning. A lot of standing water bordering on street flooding developing. Parts of Tanner Williams, Highway 193, County Road 95, all with high water. I'm Ray Romero.
Okay, so a little north of the Bankhead Tunnel, somebody going off the road. So be careful if you have to be out in the weather. We're going to be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Again, thank you to the CW55 for putting us on the air these last 10 months. It's been wonderful. Tonight on the CW55 at 8 o'clock, it is a rerun of a TV show called DC's Legends of Tomorrow. It's a show where it's all the superheroes you've never heard of before, and they're there on that show. And the reason I'm telling you about it is I see that tonight they travel in time, the superheroes travel in time to the Civil War. And they encounter Confederate soldiers who have been transformed into zombies. So Confederate soldiers zombies. Confederate soldiers zombies in the Civil War tonight on the CW55 at 8 o'clock. So that's, and it's new to you. You didn't see it the first time it was on. You're going to enjoy, I'm sure you're just going to be as delighted as you can be with the zombie Confederate soldiers. Ooh. All right, see, I'm just not a zombie fan. Just not a zombie fan. All right, so where were we? Be careful. Flash flood warning in effect. This would be the kind of day where you might want to watch something non-zombie related. Let's see. Let me go to the email inbox. I do have an email that has come in to the Uncle Henry Show. Subject line on the email is Roll Tide Unc. Email reads, "Good morning, pal. What's happening? When the double nickel gig expires, will we still hear from Zimpher and Gomez? Will you remain in this studio? Will Ariel remain? So many questions." And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley, who adds, P.S., "As an old feller I once worked with used to say, just keep the paycheck coming." Chris, thank you for your email and thank you for the Roll Tide. Not the first of the morning, but it certainly means a lot coming from West Loxley. Now let me get to your questions. When the double nickel gig expires, and it will at the end of June, will we still hear from Zimpher and Gomez? Yes, we will, if they're available. They work for iHeartMedia. Even though they've got that label of NBC, they really work for the same company. They're really iHeart. And so, yes, we will be hearing from them when they're available. Will I remain in this studio? Yes. We've spent a lot of money on the cameras. We've spent a lot of money on the cameras. So to justify the expense, I must remain in this studio, providing the video on YouTube and Facebook and a third, yet to be determined, internet streaming service. Will Ariel remain? She will. She will remain until someone offers her a better job. So she will remain. And those are all the questions. Thank you, Chris, for asking your questions of the Uncle Henry Show. All right, we're going to be going back to radio in about a minute. And Chris, there'll be new opportunities to see me and probably Ariel as we move forward on different broadcast outlets. So just I'll keep you up to date on all of that. Again, thank you for your Roll Tides. Not getting really enough Roll Tides. I'd love to get even more. All right, we're going to be on the radio here in less than 30 seconds. And so far, so good as far as big traffic problems. Even with the incredible rain we got overnight, not as many traffic problems as you might expect. Although more may be popping up as we get more rain today, there have been some spring storms that have had bigger impact than all of the rain has had so far. But again, we're expecting more rain. All right, stand by. Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710, WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also watch on the CW55 for now. Flash flood warning in effect with, even though we've had a break in the rain locally, I don't know about where, you may be getting drenched where you are. We've had a break locally here, but more is on the way. With the flash flood warning in effect, we'll keep you up to date on all of that. If you were listening to the traffic, you heard that there was at least one vehicle that went off the causeway north of the Bankhead Tunnel. That's one I've not heard before. I've heard of other, that's for some reason, you don't hear that very often. But glad that that person is okay. Hope that everything is okay with them. If you have a report for us, feel free to call in with your report on weather conditions at 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. And the email address, unclehenry@gmail.com. And let's talk to Tony. Hello, Tony. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Uncle Henry. I have been watching the weather a little bit on the local TV earlier this morning, and I thought, well, the one thing that came to my mind was, this is obviously Tropical Storm Cindy, but if we had a hurricane bearing down on us right now, I don't know that some of the weather stations have enough meteorologists to cover it. I mean, they had 2 or 3 of them on there this morning on the same channel.
You think they need more? Do you think they need 4 or 5?
Well, they would probably need to split screen and have about 5, and that way they could have an orchestrator and about 4 people working each corner of the screen to give us up-to-date information that we need. And but then when the news wasn't on, I saw that the Republicans beat the odds off of the Democrats last night. So,
right.
And yep. So, anyways, just thought you would have a little commentary on the weather there this morning from a different perspective, and I hope you have a good one. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Tony. You're very kind. Tony was very, very kind and gentle in his phone call. Yes, the weather. In many of the local stations, you'll see more than one meteorologist at the same time. And I'm sure that the research has shown the TV stations that people want as much weather as possible when we have it. When there is weather, people want to know more about it. And it's probably easier because now the technology is, back when Tony and I were young, there was a weather map, and then there was just an H and an L. You would just have an H and an L and maybe some arrows and stuff, and that was it. But now it's very complicated with computers and stuff. So you probably need more than one person in there to operate all those computers and bring all these different radar maps up, and now they can measure how many lightning strikes have happened and where and all that. So they probably need all those people just to operate their computers. More in a moment. Uncle Henry Show.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Volvo Traffic Center.
Well, at least one causeway driver didn't handle the weather conditions this morning very well. He ran off the roadway, landed in the water. This has occurred a little bit north of the Bankhead. You do have emergency crews there. It doesn't appear there's any serious injuries or anything like that, but a tow truck will be required to get the vehicle removed. The rain, of course, is the big problem this morning. A lot of standing water bordering on street flooding developing. Parts of Tanner Williams, Highway 193, County Road 95, all with high water. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
A lot of tropical moisture will continue to get slung our way on this Wednesday, all due to Tropical Storm Cindy in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not going to make a landfall in our area, but we are dealing with some tropical rain from that system. 100% chance of showers. Don't forget the umbrella. I'm Local 15's Kelly Foster for this iHeartRadio station.
Where the Gulf Coast goes to rock. 101.5 TK101.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
This is Isaiah chapter 5, verse 11, the King James Version. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them. And the New International Version. Woe to those who rise early in the morning to run after their drinks, who stay up late at night till they are inflamed with wine. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 11.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching the Uncle Henry Show here on whatever outlet you're getting it. Coming up in about 10 minutes or less, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio. He'll give us the latest on the victory of Karen Handel in Georgia. Be interesting to see what his energy level is. Last night I tuned into Fox News, and some of the reporters on Fox News seemed worn out. Just seemed worn out, just electioned out with all of that. Let me go to the email inbox. I am getting email communication as people begin to slowly awaken in our community. Subject line on the email is Roll Tide. Email reads, I just figured since you were needing another Roll Tide, I would throw one out and also send you the countdown, Don't Float Away. And that email from Virginia McNeil O'Brien, who will be on the air with me tomorrow on News Radio 710 WNTM and the JAG. And she sent me the web link to the Alabama Crimson Tide countdown to kickoff, which right now is at 73 days, 12 hours, 24 minutes, and 10 seconds. So thank you, Virginia McNeil O'Brien, for that. That was, the Roll Tide was wonderful. Roll Tide, roll! But also the countdown clock. I'm going to keep that link and look at it a lot, because each time I look at it, we'll be closer. Each time I look at it, it'll be more wonderful to look at. So thank you for that. Also, another email as people begin to awaken and want to interact with the world. Subject line on the email is June 21st. Email reads, it slipped my mind. Happy first day of summer. Roll Tide Roll. And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Locks. Chris, thank you for reminding me that it is the first day of summer. Now, to me, summer started some time ago. I have a different calendar, and it is the personal perspiration calendar. The seasons are different here than they are around the globe. Thank you, Chris, but today is officially the first day of summer. Thank you for that. And I guess it's appropriate that we're having tropical weather on the first day of summer. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com for further communication. Now, I'm finding it hard to concentrate because I looked at the countdown calendar for Alabama kickoff, and I'm strongly drawn to it. That's now all I want to do is look at the countdown clock. I might send that link to Ariel and just maybe we can just show that on the screen. Maybe if we had done that from the beginning, this show would have tremendous ratings. All right, anyway, more to come. Joe Gomez next on that special election in Georgia.
While they were watching
Obama spying on Americans,
you were listening. Keep on listening.
It's so sick.
Sean Hannity, 2 till 5. News Radio 710, WNTM.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with Virginia McNeil of McNeil Aaron's Lambert Financial Group. Virginia, what's it like being a young lady in a profession that seems to be dominated by a bunch of old geezers like your dad and Ed Aarons?
Well, Uncle Henry, not to brag, but women do control 78% of the wealth in the U.S.
Really?
They sure do. But I feel I have an advantage. As you know, at McNeil Aaron's and Lambert, we take a team approach to planning. And that's not only with our team, but that's with our clients, too. We want our clients to be a team together. We stress the importance of not only husbands being involved in the planning as they traditionally are, but for the wives to be involved just as much as the husbands. We also stress that when clients come in, they get their kids involved in their plan as well. We want the kids to know what's going to happen when the parents get older and it gets later in life. So I'm there to relate with not only the women that come in, but also the younger generations.
You can find out more online, malfinancial.com. The telephone number 666-5000.
First house, last house, Mid-South, court that side, porch, cul-de-sac, Mid-South, court that brick house, townhouse, don't pay, court that dockside, poolside, outside, court that corner store, warehouse, mama's house, court that.
Tired of painting your home every 4 to 5 years? This is Kevin Mamahat, president of Mid-South Coatings. Better than paint, more durable than latex. Mid-South Coatings is the ultimate alternative to traditional paint. And with our lifetime warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again, guaranteed. If you live anywhere in the Gulf South, call for a free estimate. And since Mid-South Coatings is much thicker than paint, your home will look like it's just been freshly painted forever. So before you paint your home with traditional paint or any product, call Mid-South Coatings for a free estimate.
Call 251-272-4440. 272.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life is the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing news. Well, they're hearing traffic and weather and from our sponsors. And we'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes with Joe Gomez. Before we go any further, I want to share with you again, you the TV viewer or Facebook viewer, what our traffic report is to see if there are any more updates on what's going on with our roadways. So just a brief listen here.
Well, it's not unusual for folks to go slip sliding in the wet conditions, and we have picked up a new interstate accident now. This is going to be eastbound I-10 right under the Range Line overpass. Left lane and shoulder are both blocked. There's a bit of a delay starting to build there, but it's going to get worse if this continues for much longer. Getting more and more reports of street flooding now as the minutes go by. One of the bigger ones is Tanner Williams, east of the Coast Guard-based entrance, basically underwater at this point, and a tree blocking the roadway on Sellers between Cody and Ziegler. I'm Ray Romero.
Okay. And we've had some of a a break in the rain, at least at our location, but so much more is on the way. So keep in mind that the driving conditions will worsen more than likely. Good morning to Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com, who is watching on Facebook. At ScottyWhite.com, you can find his podcasts. I listened to his podcast last week, where normally he talks about stuff that's frivolous, like Star Wars, things that people in their right mind probably wouldn't listen to a podcast for. But he spent a long amount of time talking about health and going to the doctor. As an older person, I love to hear other people's stories about going to the doctor. And I was riveted. So Scotty White, I give thumbs up on your health-related podcast. You might want to look into add that to your list of podcasts is some type of I've gone to the doctor podcast. That's at ScottyWhite.com, who did go to the doctor on numerous occasions. All right, let's see. Back on the radio here in about 30 seconds, and we're still waiting for Joe Gomez Joe Gomez always... There he is! He is punctual. There he is. So we'll find out about that special election in Georgia. All right, stand by. We now go back to radio.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. Thank you for watching on the CW55. And most of the listening area under a flash flood warning due to all of the rain from Tropical Storm Cindy. We will keep you up to date as the morning goes on. As we're getting more reports of roads becoming impassable, we'll let you know all that we can as we move forward. First, though, we've got Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
So, Joe Gomez, last night I tuned in to the cable news to see the results of the Georgia special election, and I tuned into Fox, and it looked like even the Fox reporters, some of them seemed almost weary. That there's just been, we've had so much election since the last presidential election that even though there was an actual vote and something new happening, it seemed like a lot of people were worn out. Now, this was a high energy race, was it not?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was. You had a lot of money infused into this election, well over $20 million on the Democrat side. I think both sides combined, it was over $50 million, which, to put that in perspective for you, is more than Ronald Reagan spent on his reelection campaign back in 1984. So it was, by far and away the most expensive U.S. House race in history. But there was also a lot of enthusiasm on the ground, and this now makes, I think, like the fourth special election so far that's happened this year with people that have been tapped to be in the Trump administration. I know that Jeff Sessions, you're race out there for senator. When is that, December?
Yeah, well, we're going into the primary here at this time of year. So after you're off the air with me, I'm sure we'll have campaign commercials popping up everywhere.
Okay. Well, yeah. So basically, I mean, I think that'll pretty much wrap up the amount of cabinet members that have their seats up for grabs. But so far, it looks like anybody who's been tapped to be in Trump's cabinet, a Republican has to place them. And that's bad news for Democrats who are hoping to try to find some kind of referendum against Trump, because so far it seems like they can't gain a foothold at all.
Now, Joe Gomez, I saw that the Republican candidate won against the young documentary filmmaker, but how close was it?
So there's been, I guess, some different polling results, surprisingly. I mean, I guess I'm not sure what why there's such a differential there, but I think we could probably comfortably say that Karen Handel won by about 5 points. So it was about 47% of the vote that Jon Ossoff received to Karen Handel's 52% of the vote when it's all said and done. So she won, she won pretty pretty handily, I would say. I mean, it was a closer race than it has been previously. Republicans have won by like 20-point margins in that district before. But considering how tight it was kind of towards the very end, to win by that kind of a margin, I think is kind of significant.
Now, I had not heard of the Democrat, the young guy Ossoff, until he jumped into this race, and then heard a lot about him. Any news about where he goes after this? Does he go back to documentaries, or is this a guy that's going to look at politics as a future? Has he said?
I don't think he has said one way or the other. I mean, I think that, because of all the national attention he's received, because of the amount of access he's had to celebrities, and I'm sure, major donors, he could easily transform that into, some kind of political capital down the road. I don't know if he's going to stick around in Georgia or what the deal is, but, I mean, you generally see people that lose races like this. We don't hear the end of them. And so I'm sure he could do a number of things, including going back to his business or becoming a commentator on television or anything like that.
I didn't think, until you mentioned this, I didn't think about it, that he's now, because of the tremendous interest in this race, as somebody in the documentary business, he is now more connected with Hollywood money than ever before. So his career, he could pursue either documentaries or politics and have a big funnel of money coming his way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially if he wants to make political documentaries, or if there was some kind of documentary being made of the race. I don't know, but I'm certain that Ossoff is not going away a loser, all at the tender age of 30 years old. I have to admit, I'm a little jealous.
well, so there are some people that accomplish a lot at a young age. I'm always looking for the person that hits it big over the age of 50. That's what I'm always looking for.
Well, maybe it'll. I mean, Karen Handel's 55. So,
right? Yeah.
She got in the gun.
Hey, I think going way back, I think Howard Cosell didn't get on TV until he was in his 40s, and had quite a career. So there's hope for us all.
All right,
Joe Gomez, thank you, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio. I'd not even considered how great this is going to be for that Democrat's career. So yeah, he lost, but did he really? How good of a job is it to be in the House of Representatives, a Democrat in that district especially? How good is that compared to now he's a documentarian who all of Hollywood now knows who he is? He'll probably be able to meet with anybody he wants to meet with if he either wants to ask for their money to invest in his projects or actually do a project on them. What an incredible way that he has been able to market himself. It may have been better for him to lose. Well, he's probably the only person happy on the Democrat side in that situation. Everybody, especially all the people that dumped all that money into it, they're all very unhappy. He's probably feeling terrific today. He lost and yet won simultaneously. All right, out of time for this hour of the Uncle Henry Show. There'll be many more hours of show coming up for the radio listener as we keep you up to date on Tropical Storm Cindy, flash flood warning. Got to be careful on the roadways. We'll keep you up to date as we move forward. If you're a TV viewer, you can stick with us on Facebook on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. We'll start that video in about 6 or 7 minutes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.